Okay, so let's have a short recap. I will be sharing my screen once again. Just give me a few seconds for me to show again my screen, and I hope that the screen is already available right this moment. Can you see the screen already? Wala pa.
Wala pa, sir.
Sige, just wait, no? I think nag-loading pa siya. Sige. How about that one? Is it available already or
Okay na, sir. Presenting na.
okay, presenting now? So, going back, no, just inform me basing mawala ang internet, no? O nako, no, I'm just hoping na dili. Dili sa pikas akong cellphone na gamit mo ko data. Okay? Sige, for a while ha. So, last meeting, in my lecture DI, no, I discussed, no, for the benefit of those who were not able to do that, to watch that, no, mo nang dili na ko siya go thorough kay na mga questions nga naa dito So, we have the concept of new literacies. In the video also, it was discussed the course orientation, the outline. Okay, we will skip on that because I already have my discussion on that. And of course, our course requirement or expected critical essay, reflection, and we will be creating designing instruction materials or a class demonstration, a simulated class demonstration that will be your output, that will use the 21st century learning. So it is expected that there will be demo teaching, but it is a simulation of a demo teaching. You will be creating your own demo teaching and expecting that there are students na interacted gyapon siya. Mura mo og kanang time nga magbuhat mo ana, mura na siya og katong mag-apply mo og trabaho karon, mag-demo mo sa mga bagong school, sa schools karon sa new normal. You will be having your lecture without the students. So you are simulating, but it is a recorded one. So mo na siya para ma-practice ta kay ang pag ma-employed mo for several years karon, ang mahitabo ingana naman pag mga-apply mo sa mga public school, private school, you will have your simulation classroom demo using the technology, the platform that we are using, like the Google Meet, the Zoom, or whatsoever. So to continue, so in the video, no, you will be seeing there is an activity. So I will just skip on this so that you can watch it carefully, the video. It was also discussed the basic literacy, the definition of literacy, and then on the three subcategories of concept of literacy, which is the basic literacy, comprehension, and functional or practical literacy. In the quiz, no, na diha mo nang kinahanglan ninyo itong tanawon ng video. So I will just skip on some parts, the concept of literacy, the expanded views of literacy, and how United Nation or UNESCO formally define literacy, and other individuals who have their own views of literacy. That is why it is called the expanded views of literacy. In the 21st century, there are also definitions given literacy in the 21st century. No? So I think we end up here. So I will start my discussion. The second part of the presentation is the literacy in the 21st century. I hope that you are still with me. Now, if you have some question, just click or use the chat box. Later, we'll be having our discussion, an interactive one. And I just want you to listen, so that you can learn something out of it. And we will be able to understand and grasp the learning objectives of this discussion. So, literacy in the 21st century, simply put, three things have been critical in the rise of new literacies. Today, the new literacies are considered the 21st century skills. So, according to research, according to critical analysis on the rise of the new literacies, what happened from the basic literacy? The basic literacy means reading, writing, and counting, or the numeracy. That's the basic literacy that we had before. But as of today, we are living in the 21st century, in the contemporary world, where the shift of ideas when it comes to literacy have already provided no, like the three things critically being provided. No, the first one, increased reach. We are communicating with more people, more from more diverse culture. So communication is very important. That is part of the 21st century, as I always said to you, that the communication have widespread in the entire country, entire world. No, even though we have diverse culture, no, across vaster distance than ever before. Today, communication is very important because we can easily communicate one place to another one. So, regardless of the distance that we had, no, although we are in the distance learning, the way that we communicate to you, we deliver an instruction, we deliver a content of the topic of the subject. This is always a way that it increases the reach of communication. Meaning to say, sa Bisaya pa, mas daghay ang naabot sa communication because of the different advent of technology. So, technology, computer literacy is one of the important skills in the 21st century. So that is why when you are enrolled to this subject, we will be going to develop our computer literacy, no, our different 21st century skills. Increased means of communication. Aside from the reach, no, means ang mga pamaagi. So how we communicate to each other has also increases. Like we are communicating in more ways and faster speeds, like the internet, the different platform communication, the cell phones, the computer, the different social media platforms, the different conferencing platforms like the Google Meet that we are using right now in our synchronous class, the Zoom, no, even in businesses, not only in education, this means of communication has widespread throughout the world. So it increases the means of communication because of the different technology, and it makes it faster. If you try to look at and go back to the past, no, the ways of communication, they are using smokes as signals of communication. Sometimes there are some barriers, and definitely it will lead to miscommunication because that is not too clear for them to understand that communication signals. And right now, there are many more ways to communicate, no, from telegrams before or telegrama to a cell phone na tagas kay sungay to sa man telepono, and to now because of the faster speeds, no, compared before, no, because of internet, social media, we can easily communicate. Those are the means of communication. Number 3, increase the breadth of content. We are communicating about more things than ever before, meaning to say the content that we are the talking points, no, in general, the talking points, the things that we are going to talk about it's also a wide scope. No, meaning to say ang atong mga gipang istoryahan karon dako nag-scope kay tungod sa kakalat na sa mga impormasyon. From politics, from government, from our life, from our daily life, from our different endeavor, we can talk anything under the sun. No? Because there are a lot of branches of knowledge that help us understand everything about the world. Sa una, it is limited. The content, the information, the topics that we are going to talk about is always limited because of less ways or means of communication. The reach of information is not of that spread away from all the parts of the world. So, going back in the 21st century, communication gid ang number 1 na nakalabaw diha. Again, to repeat, there are 3 things have been critical in the rise of the new literacies. Because of the new literacies, there is an increased reach, increased means of communication, increased breadth of content. So take note among those 3. So there is a question, how do we work together with people of different culture? We have diverse culture, no? Who might have vastly different perspectives. We have lain-lain nga panglantaw because we have different practices and cultures, with communication, work ethics, values, religions. Those are our differences with the different worldviews or panglantaw sa kalibutan. What do we do when some of this might be mutually exclusive to our own? In an age where information is power, where knowing more and knowing first can spell the difference between success and failure. So that's the idea. how do we leverage both current and emergent technologies? So how do we leverage the emergence of technologies so that our endeavors are both productive and profitable? No? So the 21st century skills are not only for education, not only limited for education student. This is good for all, especially in business and economy, no? So that we will become more productive and profitable, no? Moreover, how do we navigate and manage the veritable minefield of information? Meaning to say, sa kadako sa mga information, how will we know that this information is legitimate? How we will know that the information that we are reading and receiving is true and truthful and meaning to say legal and legit information. So that is when we use our skills, the 21st century skills, we will be able to identify which is true and which is not. Okay? Answering such complex questions. Those are complex questions, no? Mga lisod nga pangutana that requires new sets of skills and knowledge. So answering those questions requires new sets of knowledge and skills. And that's the 21st century literacy. Ones that our school system have never had to teach before. Imagine this 21st century skills, the media information literacy, the social literacy, and other 21st social literacy were not taught to us in the past. So you are very lucky because you are being taught on how the 21st century operates. The 21st century literacy will be given to you as a student and as a future teacher. With these changes in with whom, how, and why we communicate, new literacies are required not only to make sense of the changes, but also to use these new technologies in the paradigms of meaningful na only to make sense of the changes, but also to use these new technologies and the paradigms in a meaningful and productive ways. Something required not only of students but teachers as well. So you, as a student, at the same time a future teacher, you should bear in your mind the 21st century literacy. No? Because these 21st century literacies are what we call the new sets of skills and knowledge. Unlike before, ang set of knowledge, if you know how to memorize, if you can communicate only, if you know how to compute, that's already literacy. But in the new set of skills and knowledge in the 21st century, that is different, no? The use of technology, how we are critical with information, how we deal ourselves in different varied situations in the recent time. So, mo na ang mga topic. Di na ito ni isa-isahon because you will be discussing this one. I will just give you the definition, no? So globalization and multicultural literacy na ay mo discuss anak nga grupo. It discusses how increasing the ability to communicate, no? Imagine basta multicultural, meaning to say we are in the diverse culture. Even in our own country, we are identified, we have our own Filipino culture, but there are subculture out of our main culture. So for example, mahimo na kang teacher, and you will be dealing with different individuals. You cannot say that I will not accept you because you belong to this ethnicity. You cannot also tell me that you do not accept this student because he belongs to a low social class. You cannot tell me that you cannot accept his reason that why she is performing like this because he belongs to a certain ethnicity in our region. No? So you need to balance, you need to understand, you need to be cultural sensitive. Again, I'll repeat, cultural sensitive. No? Ang mga eskwelahan karon gitawag na multicultural hub. We cannot discriminate them. No? So, mo na siya about globalization and multicultural literacy. Another part of the course content of the new literacies is social. Okay? Napoy topic ka na, social literacy and financial literacy. If we will be discussing that, we will be exploring the need of the ability to navigate our social networks. The social literacy does not mean you are good in social media, but it is all about how you mingle, how you present yourself in a varied situation in the society, no? Both online and offline variety, no? To not only communicate clearly but also leverage resources which we ourselves might not possess. No? At the same time, we will be talking about financial literacy. No? I love to hear with from you kung kinsa maga-reporter aning financial literacy because this is what we need. No? We set aside this kind of literacy before. We don't need to talk about financial literacy because we don't have that money. We don't have financial resources. We are not stable when it comes to our financial stability. Nga naman, because it was not taught to us when we were elementary, when we were high school. We were not taught on how to make use of our resources, financial resources, how to invest, how to scrutinize new rise na mga businesses like mga karon uso ang mga online businesses like mga networking, marketing. No, I am not saying that they are not legal. I am not saying that they are not good for us, but we need to be more critical when it comes to businesses, when it comes to financial literacy. Na nakabutan dire o. Mao ni atong short-sightedness, no? When I say short-sightedness, mo na itong problema. That's a problem as a Filipino. Because in our culture, no, unlike ang mga Chinese, have you observed na mga Chinese business-minded people, financially literate, they can really control and manage their financial resources at a very young age? Look at those parents, Chinese parents. Now they are telling their children, their offspring, that you should not go to school first. You should first understand what is financial literacy. No, some are telling that you don't need to go to school. What you need is only to study financial literacy. No, you can go to school anytime you want. No, but you need to make your own resources. You need to become more independent. Unlike us Filipinos, we are independent. We are dependent always to our family. The Chinese people, at their very young age, they are very resourceful. They are very industrious, and they are very careful when it comes to financial ability. No, even to the single centavo that they had, they will return that one. No, sa tuwa mga bugiro ta. Sukli, with 50 centavos, you can keep the change. Piso, keep the change. Unlike the mindset of the Chinese, every single centavo counts to them. That's our resources. Imagine, that is their mindset, and that is how their family introduce the literacy about financial resources. In our case, no, Filipinos, I can really observe that we are a one-day millionaire. Napagwa na tayo kwarta, nakalisod na ta. We don't know how to invest our money. Sayang na natong kwarta. Mugawas na, no? Puro na siya outcome, wala income. No, we always give money outside, gawas, pag may kwarta, makadawat og TS, spend, not knowing one day after wala na kay kwarta. So why not at a very young age you invest your money? You invest your resources, you do a business, it doesn't na, so tian ta lang mo dahan. Kaning mga teachers, no? Public man o private, wala ginadatuan eh. Puro gid ni depleted. Mao ni number one na problema sa mga teacher. Mao na ako I am very interested pag diri na atong discussion. Because I want my learners to become financially stable and to have that kind of literacy in their mind about financial literacy. Ano? I can really observe, no, in my situation or in my other co-workers, no, puno. Even mga public school teachers, puno og loans. Pag makadawat og kwarta, they don't know how to utilize their financial resources. That is why a Filipino culture which should be changed. Muna na-focus ko dira kay there is a wide range between rich and poor in our country because of poor financial literacy. I tell you, that is the main problem of the Filipino people. I hope that after the end of this discussion, when you talk about financial literacy, you are open to the thing about investment. So I am not telling you to invest in wherever you want, but try to conduct research before you invest so that dili ka ma-scam or unsa pa na imong ginabuhat. Another thing that we're going to discuss is media, say digital literacy, no? And we can also discuss eco-literacy, artistic and creative literacy. Kamu na lay basa na. I will be sending these slides man anyway. Time check, it's already 1:58. For a moment. So, literacy, balik ta, sum up, humana ta tanan. Actually, we are done. Those are the topics. So, to sum up, we are almost done. Literacies are socially recognized ways of generating, communicating, negotiating meaningful content. Because the word content here referring to our skills and our knowledge and attitude. KSA. Kung magbuhat ang lesson plan, natay KSA, di ba? That is what we want to our learners, to develop their knowledge, their skills, and attitude. Literacy meaning knowing about the concept of knowledge, skills, and attitude. Unsa nga pamaagi? Basically, through the medium of encoded text. This one, the letters, no, it brings us understanding that that word signifies and meaning of that is this way, ana. No? What else? Literacy is the ability to consciously subvert signs. Look at this. No? There is a sign when the amo or the owner of this cat witness nga laing ani, we can really interpret. No? Someone will tell me nga gutom ang iring or ang iring is gimingaw sa amo. That is because the ability to consciously subvert signs. We cannot communicate with verbal communication with these pets, but we can understand what the signs all about of this presentation. So that's literacy, our ability to consciously subvert signs. Now, probably gutom, gimingaw, ano, we can have that idea. That's simply define literacy. Look at this one. No? New literacy of the new age. After na lang skip, you can click the video. Naman ay one link. Another thing, literacy is defined in several ways. When I say conventional, that's another term for traditional. Traditionally, as I said, it's a summary na sa atong discussion. It's simply to read and write. But that is not the literacy we want only. Today, we are in the 21st century. It's the traditional way of discussing or defining the word literacy. The ability to read and write, and that's all. But we are in the 21st century. Therefore, there are a lot of literacy in this generation. Functional way on how literacy is defined. Equipping for life and society. Yes, correct. Life and society. Ability to read, write, and understand what is meant. That is just a functional literacy. Simply understanding and how does it meant. All about. Cultural. Good background of cultural knowledge. So I am telling you that you need to be sensitive of different cultures. Critical. Whose set of knowledge is important, no? Why is it valued in literacy today? It is so critical to have that kind of knowledge. Why is it valued? No? Today, kung kabalo ka na kay knowledge, you are a knowledgeable individual, you are being acknowledged by the society. Especially like your teacher, soon to be a teacher, you are being recognized and acknowledged in your community or in the society. Teacher ba na siya? Bright na siya. Alagin na, no? Saligando na. Kitsa may kasagaran mag-MC sa mga program sa barangay. Kitsa may kasagaran kwaon o magplano sa mga events, sa mga parente, sa mga kaparintihan. If we are identified as a teacher, ikaw din manguna dira. Because, meaning to say, you are the most literate individual among all. Because you are teaching how to become literate and the other individuals. No? Ikaw nagtudlo unsaon sila may mong literate. Therefore, you cannot teach what you don't have. So you are expected na ikaw ang pinakamaayo, bright kaayo. No? Critically, being able to read and write, not just the words, but also the world, no? The meaning. And sometimes we need to read between the texts, no? Because there are sentences that we need to understand, not literally. The meaning of it will not give us the literal meaning, but there is a hidden meaning out of it That is what we call reading between the lines, understanding between the lines, reading the text between the lines. So there will be some information, connotation out of the sentence. No? For example, walking in the park. So it is like a walk in a park. It is like a walk in the park. So it is not literally that you're walking in the park, meaning to say it is so easy, But the exam is like a walk in the park. So it's using a metaphor, giving us the idea that the exam daw is so simple and easy because it is like walking in the park. So not only the words that you are understand, to read and to write, not just the word, but the meaning out of it, the word itself. So ako na lang na siyang i-skip kay almost the same na siya ng mga discussion. Literacy is no longer an endpoint to be achieved and tested, but rather a process of continuously learning. As I told you, literacy learning is a continuous process. It will not stop. Siguro sa sunod 22nd century skills na pod, no? Because dili ang mahuman because of technology. Kaya nga balik tayo dito. I just want to give emphasis on this. The technology has everything to do with the literacy. Because of technology, there is something about literacy. And being able to use the latest electronic technologies has everything to do with being literate. Like computer literacy. Among of us here, isa may di ka kabalo mo gamit og cellphone, di man ka kabalo mo gamit og computer, dili ka literate. No, kamo na siya ang connection karon sa literacy. Okay, to continue. Types of new literacy. Cultural, may isa-isa na nato ni mao ni atong mga topic, no? Ato na siyang skip. Okay, let's proceed to the summary of the new literacies. The new literacies are both technical stuff and ethno stuff. When you say technical, it's about the technology. Ethos, meaning the people. Ethnicity, enable the people to build and participate in literary practices. Different kinds of values and priorities and sensibilities. Okay, if you try to look at the picture here, it talks about the new literacies, both technical, and there is a need to identify the kind of values, sensibilities, especially kung mahimo na mo teacher or mag-practice teaching mo, kinahanglan gini yung technology karon. Okay, you need to work with the new platform. How are going to use the LMS? Kaya ang LMS kaakibat na ginakaroon, the learning management system. Before, that was so new to us, not because of the pandemic siguro, dili po taan yung maka-experience ang mga LMS, no? Only those who are in the first world country or those who are big universities. No, I am just also thankful of the effect of having this kind of pandemic because we are exposed to technology. Our teachers, based on our experience, although they are already old, they are still using the technology. They are baby boomers in their generation, but they did not stop learning the utilization of technology. They expose themselves to technology because old na sila. Padayon gihapon sila tudlo niya, di sila kabalo gamit sa technology. So they cannot survive, so they don't have work. So for them to survive, they go with the technology. They expose themselves to the technology. Technical stuff, sa mga butang like computer, internet access, dapat kabalo kang nawa internet usa man ni pagbutang sa password, sa maning kuan, PowerPoint na mo na gid na siya. Even karon ng mga oldest na to, kabalo na sila na because that is part of the literacy right now, the technical stuff. Although they are always asking the new millennials to assist them when they have encountered some difficulties in the use or the utilization of technology. It's normal because that is not their generation. But when it is your generation and it is a very big question if you don't know how to operate, you don't know how to utilize the technology. Elementary knowledge of software application, basic create meaningful artifacts product like Photoshop. I don't know if you know how to use the Photoshop, if you have your NC level in visual graphics design or VGD. Kamo kinahanglan na ninyo karon sa inyong mga idara Kay ang pagtudlo lagi karon gamit ang technology. I hope that you have that skills, the visual graphic design, animated na mga kuan, no, mga paper tarp, publication, Excel, and the rest of the application in the computer. No? Slide presentation with narration, or today, daan na galing, 2007 pa ni. Ang bago karon ng mga app na sa internet like Canva, no? Basic na siyang Canva, no? Breezy, the rest of that, no? Dapat ang kanang PowerPoint presentation, grabe na siya ka-old. At anyway, there are some advancement na po sa Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. Like CD, DVDs, mixing, music. Kanang kabalo dapat ka mo edit sa video. So mo na isa sa itong mga activity is magbuhat ta og sectional materials nga mag-edit kay video. So video editing is another skill. So bago karon dapat ka mo as a teacher, future teacher, kabalo gid mo. Ako bitaw di man ko kabalo. Because aning apil-apil lagi ko aning vlog, no? Sa akong YouTube ug uban pa. Maga-edit ko wala. Ako gitry gid na no, although dili na di ko kabalo na, di man ko ICT. But I explore, no? Nagpatudlo ko, kamot ko sa mo, sa mo pagtingong sa mo na. So only if the time nga kanang kutihan ka or kabalo ka mo explore na maka-learn lagi ka na. No, I don't know sa inyo ano, dapat nin kabalo kita ang video editing. Kay pinaka-importante na. The definite application of Google, like diri sa Google Drive, daghan pud kay pamaagi sa Peer Deck, no, sa Google Peer Deck presentation, no, uban pa mga video, audio, match, labi na kay PE ning na diri ana, kamo gina-preventive ingnan, oy i-mix aning pagkuan sabi pag mix ag music bi kay mag-practice tag sayaw, no? So isa gid na pag kabalo ka mo sayaw, kabalo ka na mo choreograph, kabalo ka mo mix of music. Mao ginay dapat na ninyo. Dili pwede nga sayaw ra ka. No, kay mapi ba. So mo na yung mga technical stuff nga gidemand sa ato karon. No, basin na diri nga kabalugin mo Photoshop, no? Mubuhat og mo layout og tarpaulin. Mo na pinaka-importante karon. That's 21st century skills. And if we don't have that kind of skills, I think we are not in the 21st century yet. So that is a great challenge to everyone. So di man na ako kinahanglan. No, you need that one. Ito steps, kani mga kuha naman siya, collaborative, participatory, distributed, ruled by fluid rules and norms, meaning kani siya mga ethnic, no? Ethics, na nauna ko na sa ethics, meaning mga values of how to use the internet, no? Ingana. So, new literacies of the internet, the Internet of Things, IoT. If you hear the word IoT, that's the new one today, the Internet of Things. I hope that you know what is IoT. No? Kay ICT na gyud ang pamusulti kang new literacies, ICT gid ang pasabot ana. No? Sige, sa una, ang akong gamiton, if napa mo, nakaabot mo man ng diskette para mag-save sa drive, MB pa gina, 50 MB, 100 MB. Sunod, nahimo ang universal serial bus or what we call the flash disk. No? Kay dili, ang USB, dili na mao ang kanang imong device. Kay dili man na mao ang USB port, ang kanang giguntan, mao na ang imong gigamit mo ng flash drive, di ba? Drive na kay hard disk, no? Dagan na kayo kabag-uhan karon. Okay, changing and evolving, correct? Because our literacy is always, it is liquid because it has always a change. What else? Strategic knowledge, speed counts, socially structured. Teachers become more important though their role changes, no? Because of technology. You are only a facilitator and there might be a chance na basin mapulihan ng teacher sa mga technology. But lahi ra gid pag teacher gyud, no? If you try to look at that one, the 19th century, our resources, our content of information is only dependent to books. And now, we are always na, dali ra na, pangita na sa Google, nana dito sa internet, nana dito tanan. Dali ra ka na, kapoy ng libro. Mga e-books, kapoy na. Yeah, isearch na, gamit ang computer, gamit ang cellphone, human. No? But you need to be critical in looking in identifying the resources. No, kaya sa internet, daghan kay dili tinuod. Dahil lagi ito sa una, pag libro, tuhuan gid ka, no? Pag libro na nimo, man mo nakuha, ani nga libro, tuo gid na. But karon diri apon ka, gikan, internet, no? Not all in the internet are true. So that is why we need to become critical in analyzing. That is what we call media information literacy or the information literacy. What else? Sa 19th and 20th century, ang emphasis is content, knowledge. Kani dapat kabalo ka na, no? Goal to master the knowledge. Dapat ma-memorize mo multiplication table. What else? Sa 21st century, it's a lifelong learning. Goal to learn skills, solve and problems like access, analyze, evaluate, and create. Think outside the box. Mo na yung pasabot. No? Look at this one, the box thinking. You do not limit your thinking inside the box. You go beyond your limitation, your comfort zone, go away from that, and think beyond it outside the box. That's the 21st century. What else? Sa 19th century, it's a fact. The facts are spoon-feeded by teachers. Teachers selecting lecturing, no? While in the 21st century, we use the inquiry-based approach, the discovery approach, the teacher framing and guiding only. No, experimentation, look at this. This is far different from what we had before. Classroom is limited to learning and dissemination, while in the 21st century, powerful use of multimedia tools. No, look at this, the worldwide learning, dissemination. And we also have this one, the textbooks. No, in the learning, primary one of the source primarily printed. And today we have the internet. Okay, to continue, what else? In the 19th, 20th century, conceptual learning, individual basis, lock steps, while in the 21st century, collaborative, project-based, flexible, individualized exposure to the content. Unlike sa una, kanya-kanya gina, paningkamot. While in the 21st century, we can work together collaboratively and we can avoid the tailored fit instruction. Dapat dili tailored fit, dapat flexible ang imuhang exposure to the knowledge or content. Mastery, no, you need to memorize. While this one, there is mastery, no, but using the multimedia. Ako na lang siyang i-skip. Okay, let's have students today. Sabi nga yung tabo karon. Ang mga bata karon, no, they are always dependent to the internet. Okay? So, we are divided digitally. Therefore, the digital divide based on access to technology. If you don't have the access, if you are limited with the access of technology, and of course, we are divided, no? Because you will be misinformed. Kulang ang iyong kaalaman kapag kulang ka sa teknolohiya. So, we are now what we call the new digital divide, based on what role technology takes in the classroom and how it supports students' learning. Okay. Half of all jobs at mid-century blue-collar employment will comprise 10% of the U.S. Now, that's a study. Total by the end of this decade. People trained for this routine from routine forms of work are open and able to move into more intellectually and interpersonally demanding jobs the new economy has to offer. So, ako naman siyang i-discuss na po na dito sa ato ang PowerPoint dito sa ato ang LMS. So, look at this one, learners and new literacies. So, online research telling us, ano ang result? 5 practices appear to define online research, no? Identifying the problem, locating, evaluating, synthesizing, and communicating information. So, mao po ni sa research niyo dapat buhaton, no? After all, we need to utilize the output of your research. Wala na siya i-skip. Kaya na siya dito. So, humanata, no? So I'm saying na kaninga PowerPoint presentation will be also given to you in the LMS. I hope nga makita po na ninyo para ma-review ninyo to sa nga lesson. So the time is 2:18, and don't worry because it's recorded. You can review this session every time you want once it is already uploaded in your LMS. So by this, now I will be ending our session so that the first group can make their interaction sa ilaha, maka-meet sila, and ma-decide nila sa nila pag-workout ana. And then I also give time, no, para sa uban nga maansiran, matan-aw to ang video, maansiran ang LMS. So we will end up to this topic until to that slide. I am hoping ma-send na nako pud ni ang video presentation ay ang ato ang lecture PowerPoint presentation, because that is our learning review learning materials when you will be answering the prelim exam. So to repeat, now you need to answer the quiz, the 2 activities in your LMS. So just wait for the PowerPoint presentation to be posted in our LMS. For now, before we end, I would like you to go to your chat box, no, and write anything that you have learned from today's discussion. So we will be using our exit card this time in the LMS, in the Google Meet chat box. We are going to have our exit card. Write anything that you have learned something today. Write your learnings. I will be checking the chat box. Write your learnings. Then after the end of your learnings, you will write, see you next meeting. That will be on Monday, and the group 1 will be able to present on that. After you write already your exit card, the entire learnings that you have learned from today's discussion, write in the last part of your sentence, see you next meeting. And if you are done, you can already left the session, and your attendance will be checked based on the answer. Okay, thank you so much, Johnny Free. You're changing already. Thank you so much for that. So you follow the instruction, no? So after writing your learnings, write see you next meeting, and after that, you can exit the session. I hope that you get the instruction. Thank you so much for listening, for giving your time for today, and we will end up so that you can answer some of the activities in the LMS. So once again, thank you so much. Keep safe and God bless everyone. I'll be waiting for your answer and checking it.